Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I will be talking about Azure AI Foundry and my experience with it and some of the considerations you should keep in mind before using it in your next project. So let's get started. So let's first understand what Azure Foundry is. So think of it as Microsoft's flagship platform for agent development. It is where you configure your models, set up your workflows, and hit publish. It is designed to be a one-stop solution for building enterprise AI agents without writing or maintaining a code. As a AI engineer, my first reaction to the Foundry was, holy shit, this is amazing, and we don't need anything else. It handles guardrails, monitoring, data privacy right out of the box. But I have been using it in real projects lately, and I have found that underneath that shiny UI, there are some considerations or some architectural hurdles you need to be knowing about before you commit it to a client or use it in your own production systems. Now, before we go into those, let's first give the credit where it's due. Azure wins at integrations. There are so many integrations, especially the tools that are there within the Foundry. They are just amazing. Any technology, any connection you might be thinking of, it is available within the Foundry. And UI is great. Now, just make sure that the Foundry I'm talking about right now is the newer version of the Azure AI Foundry. The previous version was good, but no one was really using it. But now with the upgrade, everyone is talking about it and everyone is thinking about using it in the production. So that's what I'm talking about. And yeah, and it really has that Microsoft advantage. You build an agent and it publishes to the team with one click. No custom UI needed. For a client, that's a massive win. It's licensed, it's governed, and it sits inside their existing ecosystem. This is why clients walk into the meetings now thinking that they have a magic wand. But let's talk about how Foundry actually runs its tools. It uses logic apps as engine. Here's the catch. By default, each Foundry agent, each Foundry project is tied with one logic app. Let's take the example of ServiceNow because that's what we are using Foundry for with our current project. To create any new record, such as incident, service request, or change request, you need a create record tool, which is basically a logic app workflow. Since there is just one logic app and you can only create one create record workflow, that means I technically can only create one type of record in ServiceNow. Let's say initially I had used it for creating an incident. If you try to add a second create record tool for the change request, it often just overwrites the previous one. So even if it's named create incident, it might actually be creating a service request or change request, right? And that's like very problematic. The workaround, you have to spin up an entirely separate logic app manually and configure them as custom MCPs. But logic apps are expensive. Spinning them up left and right just to get some basic functionality isn't a management nightmare. It's a budget killer. And I'm telling you, clients are very specific with not using logic apps because they are aware that it's so expensive and they are like use anything else apart from logic apps. But now we are tied into it. We also run into some sneaky bugs with the UI. We will create this service now. We had created this service now MCP connections, within the tools that are provided by the Foundry, and we would get a success message on configuring it out correctly, but then nothing happens. They wouldn't show up in the portal. We You even tried checking up with the SDK, it just didn't give the answers. We eventually found them out by digging deep into the Logic App developer tools and looking at some of the Logic App configurations. They were all there listed out. So what happened was we were trying this create incident record type to be as an MCP tool, but we were just not able to see those tools. So we were like, maybe this is failing somehow. And then we ended up actually creating a huge load of MCP tools, which were actually there, but they were just not presented in the platform. Now, because of that, when you are in a high stakes client project, you shouldn't have to inspect your own infrastructure to get to know all of these answers, and if to be sure that the MCP connections or the connection or whatever tools you have set up are properly configured or not. There are other immature areas you will hit quickly. For example, Azure Functions now have a specialized MCP version, but it's just another layer to manage. The tool approval process is currently very buggy, right? It's supposed to be a governance feature, but right now it's just a friction point. So uh, after every, let's say I say that, hey, go and create an incident, then the agent or the LLM will go and find the appropriate tool for creating the incident, and then it will ask me, hey, are you sure that these are the things I've extracted from your query, and should I go ahead and create this incident from this details? And when you say yes, or there's even an option in Foundry which uh, allows you to basically not ask for approval each time, because think about it, from a from a technical perspective, yes, it's better to ask for approval, but from a user UI UX perspective, it's just too boring to always click on the approve button each time I want to do something. And then there is an option to switch that functionality off, but when I switch that off, the agent hallucinates or something goes wrong, and a fake incident gets created. That incident is not reflected in the service now, and that's just unreliable. When i when i have the approval process configured, like approve each time I want to do something, at that time a proper incident gets created in the ServiceNow portal and I can see and verify it. But when I switch that functionality off, it's up to the gods if the incident gets created or not. And the big one, the authorization, the built-in connectors, often in this case for ServiceNow, use admin credentials. If you want a proper OAuth identity pass-through, so the ServiceNow user's permission are respected, you are back to building a custom MCP. Microsoft sells this as a one-click publishing, and that's true if you are only publishing to teams. If you want anything else for your own organization with your own branding and own styling, then the no code dream ends. If you want a custom web interface, you have to build an entire front end and back end yourself. You will be using the Foundry SDK to consume the agent, which means you are back to full stack engineering. In Is Azure AI Foundry powerful? Absolutely. The level of integration is insane, and for many organizations, the governance alone makes it the right choice. But it is an active development, and that's a big consideration to take into the mind. And it's very immature right now. So we have to give it a couple of months, maybe a 6 month, 1 year down the line, when all those bugs are fixed. I think it will going to be a amazing platform to build AI agents. You have to think twice about every connection, and you have to be ready to jump into the custom lane the moment the UI fails you. Use it for the ecosystem, but don't be fooled by the magic wand marketing. You still need an engineer who knows how to look under the hood. I hope you found this video informative, and let me know if you face similar problems, if you're using it within your organization or for your clients, and if any of the issues that I mentioned relate to you as well, or is it just us? So let me know down in the comments. And if you like such type of videos and such type of information, uh, please hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you, and see you in the next video.